Alright, we got the last one of the Mad Stork. I only got to like shout them out once, which was 2, 3, 3, 4, because every other SCP that they had was in the second series, was before I did the whole shouting out of the author. 2, 3, 3, 4. Yes, it was like I don't fully remember what it was about. Actually, it's coming out in like 2 days. But it's like a pile of every photograph. I forgot what fully. I think it's literally just a pile of like photographs from every, like it's just a huge pile that has like photographs of a lot of people, and also like creatures from not our world. I believe. I forgot. I will be honest. I forgot about that one a little bit. Let's see if there's an explained, because I feel bad if I don't fully remember. 2, 3, 3, 4. Let's see here. 2, 3, 3, 4. 2, 3, 3. Nah, man. But yeah, it's called every possible photograph. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it is literally, that's literally what it is. It's every possible photograph in a pile, and it's even like photographs from not our world. But hey, the Mad Stork. Thank you so much for writing all the SCPs. I like the pile up, every possible photograph, antique chest, computer, all that stuff. Thank you for writing that, and let's wish you a happy journeying into your life. And let's see if whatever you plan to do in the future, as long as it's good, you know, as in like nothing awful. I wish you the best. So, large format camera. Here we go. Object class safe. Special containment procedures when not in use. SCP-2626 is to be kept in a locked pad storage container at Site 19. Staff may request permission to use SCP-2626 for research purposes by submitting a written proposal to the Level 3 supervisor, who must be physically present to supervise all use of the item. Negative or photographic prints produced by SCP-2626 with unknown effects must be treated as potential Epsilon class cognitive hazards and may not be viewed under any circumstances until thoroughly tested on D-class personnel in a controlled environment. Negatives or photographic prints produced by SCP-2626 with known effects may be utilized for research purposes by personnel with proper clearance. All known negatives and photographic prints related to SCP-2626 are to be stored in the 19-2626 document storage archive organized by numeric ID prefix. Materials representing an alpha or beta class cognitive hazard must be sealed in clearly labeled opaque envelopes and may be removed in a controlled environment by personnel with level 2 clearance. Materials representing a gamma or delta class cognitive hazard must be locked in designated clearly labeled sealed drawers and may be removed in a controlled environment by personnel with level 3 clearance. Materials representing an epsilon class cognitive hazard must be locked within 2 steel containers and may not be removed by any personnel under any circumstances without supervision and prior written approval from 2 level 4 directors. Description: SCP-2626 is a modified Graflex pacemaker speed graphic large format camera circa 1966. A device mounted within the camera bellows labeled Corporation Hypnotic Pattern Generator produces the item's anomalous effect. Research staff have determined that when light enters this device, it subtly alters a wavelength and intensity of individual photons and utilizes a dynamically generated diffractions matrix to embed anomalous cognitive triggers in the resulting image. The origin of the device is currently unknown, as Corporation does not match the name of any business, entity or subsidiary on record. The device requires 6 fully charged AA batteries or AA batteries to function properly. SCP-2626 was purchased at auction in San Francisco, California from the estate of commercial photographer after her death in 2004. The buyer surrounded the camera to local law enforcement after taking a photograph that caused him to vomit uncontrollably. According to him, it came in its original box with a note from a presumed acquaintance of that read, A special camera for you on the occasion of your 75th birthday. Photograph only the most beautiful subjects with it, and I assure you that you appreciate the cool results. Best always, TM. Viewing negatives or photographic prints produced by SCP-2626 will cause anomalous effects that depend on the perceived symbolism, function, or the properties associated with the subject depicted in the photograph. Additionally, the effect of a particular image may vary among viewers. For a complete list of known photographs and their effects, see document L01. Selected examples of tests on D-class subjects are listed in the addenda below. Addendum 1. Selected examples of photographs produced by SCP-2626. In each test, one or more D-class subjects were asked to view a photograph taken with SCP-2626 for 10 seconds. In all cases, the effects manifested instantaneously after the photograph was taken from view. So we have Alpha-class cognitive hazard. Alpha-class cognitive hazards include mildly incapacitating sensation or beliefs in some or all of those exposed. Subject photographed, Granny Smith apple. First subject, an atheist, reported a distinct sour taste in her mouth. Second subject, an avowed Christian, insisted he had been endowed with knowledge or wisdom but could not specify exactly what he had learned. Cognitive hazard class Alpha. Then we have Beta class. Beta class cognitive hazards induce moderately incapacitating sensation, beliefs, or experiences in some or all of those exposed. Then we have subject holographed stop sign. Effects. Temporary paralysis observed approximately 10 minutes among all viewers. Damn, she was like Heaven's the door from JoJo's. Subject photographs CRT television set off. Effect visual and auditory hallucinations reported. Subjects believed they had watched one episode of a television show. No. Details of the show vary from viewer to viewer. One subject believed he had watched a situation comedy about a pair of quirky roommates, another believed he had watched a procedural drama about a police officer in Detroit, Michigan. In each case, the content seen did not match any particular known television program, but rather contained scattered elements from multiple programs. Some viewers found the content more entertaining than others. Subject photographed D2626-14 with neutral facial expression. Viewers believed they were intimately familiar with D2626-14 despite knowing no details about him, including his real name. On viewing the photograph of himself, D2626-14 experienced a major depressive episode in which he became very critical of himself and his perceived faults. Despite thinking that they knew D2626-14, the test subjects expressed no opinion about him, positive or negative. Oh yeah, I know that guy. What do you think about him? Oh, I know. You know. He's kinda there. Subject photographs these three with pedestrians. 20% of viewers experience violent bouts of anxiety. 50% experience prolonged restlessness, characterized by the need to pace around the testing room. 30% believe they intimately knew one or more of the human subject depicted in the photograph. Okay. Gamma class cognitive hazards. Gamma class cognitive hazards include severely incapacitating or painful sensation, beliefs, or experience in some or all of those exposed. Subject photograph D2626-08 with menacing facial expression. Viewers became highly agitated and physically hostile, demanding to know the location of D2626-08 after viewing the photograph of himself in a separate room. D626-08 displayed a significant degree of undirected aggression. Subject photograph book of matches. Book of matches. Viewer with smoke cigarettes. Is that what you call it? No, a case of... Wait. Hold on. Oh, yeah, a matchbook. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I guess, yeah, I guess that's the book of matches, I guess. We used to smoke cigarettes. I just didn't know that was... Like, matchbook I knew, but like... I guess I never heard it say we call it a book of matches. Viewers who smoke cigarettes expressed a strong desire to smoke. Viewers who did not smoke cigarettes screamed incessantly, some dropping to the ground and rolling back and forth before going into acute shock. Ah, they felt like they were burned alive, huh? Digital clock. All except one viewer rendered catatonic and unresponsive to stimuli. The responsive individual, after crying hysterically for nearly an hour, claimed that she was trapped in her chair, unable to move for 10 years. that she knew the exact amount of time that had elapsed because all she could do was watch the seconds on the clock tick by. The clock in the photograph was set to 10 AM. However, conducting more tests to verify the connection would be unnecessarily cruel. Dr. Roach, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Roach, for not wanting to traumatize everybody. Plate of chicken wings. First view simply reported hunger. Second view, a vegan proceeded to bite, tear off, and consume the flesh of her own hands. Well, goddamn. Delta class cognitive hazards. Cause death for some or all of those exposed. Sunsetting of the ocean. Death by stroke observed in 25% of viewers. Irreversible coma included in 20% and 15% experienced sensation described as peaceful and relaxing. The remaining 40% struggled to breathe, and as if drowning, but recovered after intubation by medical staff. Human skull. Death by brain aneurysm observed after approximately 15 seconds. Human skull is typically a symbol of death, but exception exists. More investigation can be recommended, assuming we have D-class to spare. I love how with the other one, with like the digital clock one, they're like, no, don't do that. Let's not traumatize them. Or with the skull one, like, it's like, oh, you know, losing a couple of XP classes will not be that bad. If they die, they die. He dies. Subject photograph. Day of the Dead Mexican sugar skull. Death by cardiac arrest observed after approximately 15 seconds in all viewers, except one who experienced no negative effects and simply stated that she was filled with appreciation for her ancestors. Unaffected viewer was of Mexican descent. That makes sense. That's why I thought. Abandoned house in advanced state of decay. All viewers developed cancerous masses in various parts of their bodies. Additionally, D2626-19 tackled and held down D2626-34, put them to fight him off as data expunged, terminated by security personnel. Epsilon class cognitive hazards. Epsilon class cognitive hazards confer anomalous abilities in some or all of those exposed. See addendum B for details. Well, addendum B is right down there. Incident 3, level 3 clearance required. On Thursday, September 14, 2006, research staff photographed SB2626 itself in a mirror using a remote shutter release. Upon taking the photograph, a loud series of clicks emanated from the anomalous device within the camera bellows. Staff members were initially concerned that they had somehow damaged the device. However, subsequent tests demonstrated that it was not adversely affected. Sorry about that. The resulting photograph did not depict SB2626 as expected. Rather, D-class test subjects have described it as depicting an elderly woman in ragged clothing sitting in an armchair with torn upholstery, staring and pointing directly towards the camera with her mouth wide open, as if she's screaming. In her lap is a camera that appears to be physically identical to SB2626. Interesting. D-class test subjects who viewed the photograph produced in this test were exposed to an Epsilon class cognitive hazard. Approximately 1 hour after viewing the photograph, subjects gained the ability to produce cognitive hazardous effects through vocal inflection and facial movements. Foundation personnel were killed and others were wounded or psychologically impaired in the subsequent struggle. 2 D-class test subjects D2626-44 and D2626-21 successfully escaped from Foundation custody and remain at large. Oh shit! They remain at large? They're still out there? Oh no. Oh no, Mario. That's no good. Uh-oh. Yeah, no, that's worrisome. But hey, the Foundation will definitely eventually find them, because like, I mean, I say that, but the D-class might actually be very smart about it now and are now forever gone. Shit. Shit. That's that. They should have tested only on 1 D-class. just to be sure that nothing awful happens. But yeah, interesting idea though. It seems at the end like the effect seems it depends on the person, right? Like who they are has like a different effect on them, which is very interesting. I wonder like how I would act with some of the nothing in the fucking Delta line, please, or even in the one that causes immense pain. But like, I was just wondering, like, if I were to look at one of the spoilers made by this SCP, what would my reaction be? My question also is, like, does the reaction stay? I guess not. I guess it's just a short time thing, unless it's traumatic, and of course the trauma stays. Smile for the camera.